Queen Camila's descendants will never replace Diana's, just like a coyote could never replace the Lion King. Firstly, Camila's descendants have no blood relationship with the royal family, and their upbringing is far from refined. Last year, when the royal family stood on the Buckingham Palace balcony, Charles waved to the crowd while Camilla was busy instructing her clueless grandchildren where to stand. Meanwhile, Prince William's family was already standing perfectly, smiling gracefully. During the event, Camilla's grandson, Freddie Parker Bowles, kept looking around, and no one corrected him. Camilla even chatted with him, disregarding proper etiquette. By the end, Freddie had his hands crossed behind his head, looking more relaxed than Charles himself. But Princess Charlotte, a true royal, just waved calmly. It's worth mentioning that Charlotte learned to curtsy at the age of 2, and as she grew older, she even started teaching Prince George some etiquette. In contrast, 13-year-old Eliza Lopes's hair is always a mess. So I believe Camilla will never replace Diana, and her grandchildren cannot compare to the true royals. If Kate hadn't reclaimed that tiara, Diana might have jumped out of her grave to attack Camilla. The Cambridge Lover's Knot tiara has a 200-year history and is worth $1 million. Diana adored this tiara. She first wore it at the state opening of Parliament in 1981 and again at a banquet at Hampton Court Palace in 1982. In 1983, she took it with her on visits to New Zealand and Canada. She even had a pair of pearl earrings custom-made to match the tiara. After Diana passed away, the tiara was supposed to go to Kate, but she only received Diana's pearl earrings because Camilla shamelessly took the tiara for herself. Fortunately, the British public protested, and the royal family took back the tiara. It wasn't until 2015 that the tiara reappeared, this time worn by Kate to honor Diana. She wore it at state events for 5 consecutive years. In 2022, King Charles held his first state banquet at Buckingham Palace. Kate's outfit had a similar vibe to Diana's iconic pearl gown. Camilla could only manage a forced smile. Additionally, Kate was seated very close to Camilla, so even though Camilla wore a blue lace dress with big jewels, she still ended up looking overshadowed. I mean, who wouldn't enjoy watching that scene? Diana may never have understood, even until her death, that her passing couldn't be entirely blamed on Camilla, but rather on her own excessive pursuit of attention. Diana's most prominent moment was during the 6-week tour of Australia and New Zealand with Charles in 1983. This trip made Charles realize that he had underestimated Diana's charm. During the trip, wherever Diana went, her presence would spark wild enthusiasm among the locals. The fervor surrounding Diana boosted her confidence, and Diana achieved victory. But Charles was disheartened because the glory and acclaim that should have been his were all taken by Diana. In 1985, Diana accompanied Charles on an official visit abroad. During a dinner, Diana performed a dance that once again captivated everyone, which left Charles thoroughly annoyed with her. Despite knowing that she overshadowed Charles, Diana continued to engage in public welfare and charity work, winning people's hearts. She revealed royal secrets to journalists, acting like a ticking time bomb that could go off at any moment. She underestimated the royal family's power and failed to recognize her own position. Eventually, in August 1997, Diana and Charles signed their divorce agreement, and a year later, she passed away in a car accident in Paris. As long as Princess Anne is alive, she will be Camilla's eternal nightmare. When Anne discovered that Camilla hadn't treated Charlotte well, she stepped in once again to put Camilla in her place. During Kate's illness and recovery, Camilla had her eyes on Kate's children. She not only tried to arrange for her own granddaughter to marry Prince George, but she also took the opportunity to bully Princess Charlotte. However, Camilla underestimated Charlotte's protector, Princess Anne. As the eldest princess of the royal family, Anne has always held Camilla in disdain, even though Camilla is now the queen. Princess Anne is known for her strong sense of justice. Many years ago, she took it upon herself to care for William and Harry after they lost their mother, and now she has taken Charlotte under her wing. This is undoubtedly the best outcome, as Princess Anne is more competent than her brother Charles. With Anne's guidance, Charlotte is sure to grow up into an exceptional young woman. But this is clearly not the scenario Camilla had hoped for. Despite her ambitions, Camilla dares not make another move. She knows that in terms of both status and power, Princess Anne far surpasses her. If a conflict were to arise between them, Charles would likely side with his sister rather than Camilla. It is clear that being favored by Princess Anne is Charlotte's greatest fortune. Both women wore crowns when they married Charles. Diana wore a noble crown that was carefully crafted by her family. Camilla, on the other hand, wore a crown given to her great-grandmother when she was a mistress. It turns out that being a mistress is a skill passed down through Camilla's family. It is well known that Diana came from the Spencer family, one of the old aristocratic families in England. Her family not only owns ancestral castles, famous paintings, and antiques, but also possesses many heirloom jewels, including crowns. In 1981, at her wedding to Charles, Diana wore a crown that had been passed down through her family for nearly a century. The crown sparkled beautifully on her head, leaving a lasting impression. When Camilla married Charles, the crown she wore was even more noble than Princess Diana's. However, this crown, called the coup de foudre, was not a family heirloom, but a gift given to Camilla's great-grandmother while she was the mistress of Edward VII. It is said that when Camilla first met Charles, her opening line was, "My great-grandmother was your great-grandfather's mistress." This line was certainly quite provocative. Notably, according to tradition, crowns are supposed to be returned to the family when a family member marries again. But Camilla took the diadem for herself. When her daughter Laura got married, she only lent it to Laura for one day. In contrast, after Diana left the royal family, her crown was returned to the Spencer family, and to date, 5 people have worn this crown. As expected, nobility has its own rules that Camilla, who merely pretends to be noble, will never truly understand. This is what you call true masterful revenge. Camilla didn't allow Kate Middleton to wear the crown, so Kate wore her mother-in-law Diana's earrings and her great-grandmother-in-law's necklace as a form of protest. On May 6, 2023, the coronation of King Charles III of the United Kingdom officially began, costing $125 million. Camilla wore a crown from 1911 set with 2,200 diamonds, making a stunning debut. Her eagerness to show off the crown is understandable, as she had waited patiently for 20 years and was determined to finally enjoy her moment of recognition. However, no matter how prestigious the crown, wearing it on her head gave it an air of tackiness and old-fashionedness. How could she not be aware of her own flaws? So before the coronation ceremony began, she went to great lengths to prevent Kate Middleton from wearing a crown, not allowing Kate to become the center of attention. But she underestimated Kate's sense of revenge. Kate is not as easy to bully as Diana was. In the end, Kate wore the diamond and pearl earrings that Charles had gifted her, which had once belonged to Diana, and the diamond necklace given to her by Queen Elizabeth, appearing at the coronation ceremony. She used these 2 pieces to directly mock the showy and foolish Camilla. It's hard to know if Camilla, who was so overshadowed by Kate at the time, might have regretted provoking her. Alcohol has Camilla consumed to even delusionally ask Prince William to move out of Kensington Palace so her son can move in. According to British media reports, after the coronation, Camilla has often persuaded William to move out of Kensington Palace, claiming that it is only fitting for the future king to reside in a larger house. But in reality, she wants her son to move into Kensington Palace to take William's place. Kensington Palace has always symbolized the status of the heir, and William surely sees through Camilla's intentions and decisively rejected her request. However, Camilla remains undeterred and repeatedly seeks Charles's help. This time, Charles hasn't lost his clarity, so he taught Camilla a lesson several times. Camilla enjoys being in the limelight, so at the Queen's first ceremony, it was suddenly announced that Kate would be hosting, clearly informing everyone that Charles publicly denied Camilla's authority, which left her feeling extremely humiliated. Last November, at the royal event for Remembrance Day, there was also no sign of Camilla because Charles had not agreed to her attendance. Camilla also attempted to get back at Charles by refusing to attend the ceremony for Jun Suk-yeol's visit in an effort to embarrass Charles. However, Charles simply ordered that Kate be sent in her place. These actions made Camilla completely compliant, and she abandoned any thoughts of having her son replace William. Did you know that Queen Elizabeth's historic bow was actually for Princess Diana? In the days following Princess Diana's tragic death, the world mourned the loss of the people's princess. However, Buckingham Palace remained silent. Queen Elizabeth did not lower the British flag nor plan a state funeral for Diana. According to royal tradition, since Diana was no longer a member of the royal family, she was not entitled to a royal funeral. This left many people feeling disappointed and angry. They believed that regardless of Diana's departure from the royal family, she had brought endless grace and glory to the monarchy and deserved the utmost respect. Faced with growing public outrage, Queen Elizabeth realized the seriousness of the situation. She unprecedentedly decided to hold a royal funeral for Diana, acknowledging Diana's profound impact on the entire nation. The most striking moment came when Queen Elizabeth made an unexpected gesture of bowing to Princess Diana. This act caused a worldwide sensation, because it broke one of the most important protocols of the British monarchy. The monarch never bows to anyone. This marked a historic moment in royal history. Why did Diana never grow her hair long after marriage? Her iconic short hair hides the heartbreaking secrets of the princess. In fact, after marrying Charles, Diana briefly grew her hair long once. At the 1984 Parliament opening ceremony, her new hairstyle caused a sensation, with countless women flocking to salons to get the same Diana haircut. However, this angered Queen Elizabeth. It turned out that royal family members must strictly adhere to grooming regulations, and the Queen herself was no exception. Consequently, Queen Elizabeth summoned Diana and gave her a severe reprimand. To comply with the Queen and avoid public suspicion, Diana had her stylist cut a quarter-inch of her hair each week, gradually returning to her short hairstyle. Additionally, Charles criticized Diana's eye-catching hairstyle. As a result, Diana never grew her hair long again. For a period, Diana's hair gradually became shorter, coinciding with the exposure of Charles's affair. Perhaps the length of her hair reflected her complex emotions that were difficult to express. Camila hates touching children with darker skin, but Diana was like a mother, holding these children in her arms. The evil witch can never replace the angel on earth. Diana's life was dedicated to charity, without distinction of race, gender, or region. She visited the Red Cross in Angola to comfort children injured by landmines. She sat among the children, attentively listening to their needs. Her encouragement helped a 13-year-old amputee girl regain hope, and she even let the girl sit on her lap for a photo. Diana also visited refugees in Zimbabwe, rolling up her sleeves and personally serving food to homeless children. In stark contrast, Camila has never spoken to disabled children. When feeding reindeer outdoors with children, she only held an umbrella for herself. During a visit to Barnardo's nursery, she even yanked a black girl's bracelet, lifting her arm, blatantly offending them. Camila also visited Kenya, but she couldn't change her bad habits, keeping her distance from the local children. When taking photos with local women, she refused to hold their hands. So in your heart, who is the true Queen of Hearts? Camila ignored the dancers who greeted her to avoid being blown by the wind. Diana's skirt was blown up by the wind, yet she remained composed and graceful. No wonder mice are despised by everyone, while pigeons are symbols of light. Last year, the entire royal family attended the annual Commonwealth ceremony held at Westminster Abbey. Camila wore a $200,000 blue suit and a $2 million sapphire brooch. However, the expensive outfit couldn't save her from her rudeness. As soon as she got out of the car, she awkwardly clutched her bag and held onto her hat, even refusing to shake hands with the priest. Meanwhile, a women's choir was performing for them in the cold wind. Charles stopped to watch, but Camila walked straight into the church. In contrast, when Diana's skirt was blown up by the wind, she remained elegant, still chatting and shaking hands with others calmly. In fact, windy weather is very common in the UK, so Diana rarely wore hats, and her skirts were made with anti-exposure measures. But Camila wears hats and skirts on every outing, and there were even a few times when she nearly had wardrobe malfunctions, embarrassing the royal family, yet she never takes any preventive measures. Kate also had her share of struggles with the wind when she first joined the royal family. She wore a short skirt and almost had an embarrassing moment in front of the army, but unlike Camila, she gradually became more composed. In short, as a princess and Diana's daughter-in-law, Kate has done much better, hasn't she? Princess Anne's curtsy is standard and graceful, while Camilla's curtsy almost caused her to trip. A clumsy donkey can never become a graceful horse. Princess Anne is the only one in the royal family who embodies elegance and heroic spirit. At 72, she rides a horse with poise and grace. When she dons a hat and formal attire, she looks like an elite, and her hair is always perfectly styled, no matter the occasion. This princess royal knows that her actions represent the royal family. However, as the queen consort, Camila has been constantly tarnishing the royal image. At the coronation, she slouched and frequently adjusted her hair. She never ties her hair up, so even the slightest breeze turns Camilla's hair into a mess, like a chicken coop. Most importantly, Camila has never performed the curtsy according to royal standards. Even at Elizabeth II's funeral, she only did a half squat. She even wore a huge pearl necklace and various gold bracelets, showing no sign of sadness at all. In contrast, standing beside her, Princess Anne wore no jewelry, When seeing off the Queen's coffin, Princess Anne did not forget to perform a deep curtsy. Just because of one remark from Camila, Kate no longer has the right to wear flat shoes. In 2018, Kate wore stiletto heels while sporting a large baby bump and even bent her waist to 90 degrees. 7 hours after a C-section, she was wearing a short skirt and high heels, being interviewed in the cold wind. It's not hard to notice that when carrying out official duties, Kate is always seen wearing high heels, even playing field hockey and cricket in them. She wears high heels as if they were sneakers, effortlessly, without letting them interfere with any activity. But even so, Kate's feet betrayed her. In 2023, a photo was taken of Kate taking off her shoes, her feet unable to relax from being tightly confined for a period. It was evident that Kate's feet truly needed rest. The reason she has this ability is that Camila had already issued an order. In order to maintain the royal image, she forcibly required Kate to wear high heels at all times. This is also the real reason why Camila occasionally wears flat shoes, while Kate has never worn flats in public.